In fact, one particular day at the end of the past month was so significant that it could go down in history. The clashes along the vast front lines stretching from the Kursk region to Donbass resulted in the Kremlin suffering its heaviest losses to date, marking the end of the days it had boasted about its gains. In the early hours of November 29th, Russian forces launched an offensive against multiple Ukrainian defensive lines. The infantry advancing with lead mechanized units suddenly found themselves caught in minefields and heavy artillery barrages. And finally, during the attacks, Russian units trying to retreat were hunted down one by FPV drones. In fact, the 810th Marine Infantry Brigade stationed in the Kursk region seems to have entered a minefield while advancing near Novo, resulting in significant losses. The brigade suffered such heavy casualties in a short period that it was not only a tactical error, but also recorded by open intelligence sources as one of the worst defeats of the war. While official Kremlin statements usually refrain from mentioning such losses, independent reports from the front line have begun to clarify the situation further. With the approaching winter, many Russian soldiers operating on the front line have run out of supplies. There is even a crucial analysis prepared by the Kiev Post highlighting that in some sectors, units are left without assistance. According to the analysis, as winter sets in, the Russian army's losses and dwindling supplies signal that the Kremlin's war strategy is starting to collapse. Furthermore, statistics released indicate that the total Russian losses for November exceeded 1,000, which is claimed to be the largest loss for the Russian army since World War II. Could the losses sustained by the Russian army in securing control over a few small villages be even greater? Independent sources claim that the casualties on the front lines may be higher, with official figures expected to become clearer only when the fighting in the region ends. However, the Russian army's significant losses in achieving gains suggest that the Kremlin has been making too many strategic miscalculations. In particular, the soldiers in the KK region, who were told they were heading to areas free of mines, have reported unexpectedly finding themselves in minefields. This suggests that either the intelligence in the region was incorrect or the commanders intentionally made such statements to avoid frightening the soldiers. Open intelligence sources indicate that these incidents, as a whole, demonstrate how strategic mistakes have triggered a snowball effect. Meanwhile, more precise information has emerged regarding the attack on Crimea that took place last Friday. On that day, Crimea became the target of a large-scale and coordinated attack by Ukraine. While it was evident that Ukraine used its most effective weapons in this operation, the real story behind the operation is quite surprising. There appears to be a massive deception behind this grand operation. It seems that Ukraine conducted this operation specifically to ease its next moves and completely surprise the Russian defenses. The Kremlin claimed that 25 drones were neutralized during the attack. However, following this statement, claims that the remaining missiles hit their targets only seem to reinforce the suspicion. The primary targets of the attacks were the Belbek Air Base and the off-naval base in Crimea. The smoke rising from a building at the naval base strengthens the claim that the site Ukraine struck was not just buildings, but also a Russian army strug center. Since the start of the conflict in the region, the Belbek Air Base has been repeatedly targeted, essentially making it a focal point for Ukraine. However, this time the operation was carried out in a more coordinated and extensive manner. Kremlin statements claim that the drones were neutralized. The operation initially involved drones, which exhausted the region's air defense systems. Subsequently, Ukraine used its main attack systems for the primary strike, including cruise missiles. According to open intelligence sources, this strategy allowed the primary weapons to reach their targets, while the cheaper, less effective drones were intercepted by air defense systems. Immediately following this event, Russian sources reported that the Kremlin decided to reassess all air defenses in Crimea. Before these events, Crimea had been a critical base for Russia's Black Sea Fleet due to its strategic importance. However, Ukraine's increasing attacks have made it unsustainable for Russia to maintain its fleet presence there. Recently, warships from the Black Sea Fleet have been relocating to other naval bases along the Black Sea coast or conducting maintenance there. The fact that Crimea is no longer a secure harbor for Russia's naval forces has significantly reduced Russia's ability to launch naval attacks from the Black Sea. According to recent developments, the Atesh resistance movement has detected activity by Russian Black Sea Fleet ships in Novorossiysk. During this investigation, the frigate Admiral Makarov, which had been damaged last October but later repaired, was also found. According to past military reports, this frigate actively participated in missile strikes on Ukraine but was placed under heavy protection in Novorossiysk immediately after it was damaged. The discovery revealed that due to the high probability of an unmanned aerial vehicle UAV attack in the area, large caliber machine guns had been placed along the coastline. Additionally, munitions loading activities at the naval base indicate that the Russian Black Sea Fleet is preparing for new operations. Therefore, this base is currently one of the strategic points in the eastern Black Sea. Given Ukraine's long-range UAV capabilities, this base could potentially become a target. Ukrainian Digital Transformation Minister Mikhail Fedorov stated that Ukraine possesses long-range UAVs with a range of up to 1,800 km. In fact, Ukrainian President Zelensky has announced a target to produce 300 long-range attack drones by 2025. Since 2023, Ukrainians' drone production has significantly increased, and thanks to these innovations, the Ukrainian army has achieved significant success on the front lines using drones. Minister Fedorov also emphasized that Ukraine has not only a large number of drones, but also AI-supported swarm drones and Shahad countermeasure drones. He added that as of this year, Ukraine has signed a contract to purchase 1.6 million drones, with 1.3 million of them already delivered. These drones are mostly remotely controlled, low-cost, first-person view drones. Based on the information that has emerged, the Novorossiysk naval base, located about 500 km from the Ukrainian border, is now within range of drones, making it a potential target for precision strikes. As you know, warships are among the most expensive and difficult assets to produce for armies. The Russian Navy has already lost numerous warships, incurring millions of dollars in damage. The Kremlin is now forced to fill this gap, requiring significant resources to build new warships. The collapse of the ruble and the continuing embargoes from Western countries are further affecting the Kremlin's leadership. It remains to be seen where significant developments will occur at the Novorossiysk base in the near future. To show your support and help us continue providing information, please donate us a super thanks. We'll see what happens in the coming days. We have come to the end of another video. You can like the video to support us by subscribing. You can easily follow new videos. I wish you all free days. See ya. The ongoing conflict has left a lasting impact on the geopolitical landscape of Eastern Europe. From the perspective of military strategy, it is evident that both sides are facing significant challenges. But the mistakes and miscalculations made by one side are especially instructive for both analysts and future strategists. As we look at the unfolding events, several lessons can be drawn. First and foremost, the importance of accurate intelligence and clear communication cannot be overstated. The Russian military's experience in the KK region, where soldiers were sent into minefields under false assurances, highlights a critical flaw in decision-making processes. Whether this misinformation was due to faulty intelligence or intentional misleading, the consequences were devastating. The heavy casualties and the strategic errors serve as a reminder of how misinformation or a lack of proper reconnaissance can lead to catastrophic outcomes in conflict situations. It is a lesson that military leaders and strategists must take to heart, as the cost of poor information can be irreparable. The second lesson is the significance of adaptability in warfare. Ukraine's use of deceptive tactics in its attacks on Crimea, combined with its growing reliance on drones, shows a level of strategic creativity that has taken Russian forces by surprise. The success of Ukraine's drone operations, particularly with long-range UAVs, illustrates the increasing importance of technological innovation in modern warfare. Drones have proven to be a game changer, not only providing intelligence, but also striking from long distances. This shift towards more technologically advanced and low-cost solutions is likely to continue shaping future conflicts, where conventional military tactics may no longer be as effective. Another lesson concerns the vulnerability of strategic military assets when the enemy is able to take advantage of weaknesses. The situation with Russia's Black Sea Fleet is a stark reminder of how crucial naval and air superiority is, yet also how quickly these assets can become liabilities in the face of evolving warfare tactics. Crimea, once considered a secure stronghold, has become increasingly unstable for Russian forces due to the frequency and effectiveness of Ukrainian attacks. The strategic importance of controlling key locations, such as Crimea, is clear, but maintaining that control requires constant adaptation to new forms of attack and new technological capabilities, something that Russia seems to be struggling with. Personally, the situation brings into focus the tragic cost of war, both in human lives and the long-term effects on nations involved. While military strategies are constantly evolving, the impact on civilians, the environment, and entire societies is often overlooked in the analysis of military victories or defeats. The ongoing cycle of violence is a stark reminder that behind every statistic, behind every loss of life, there are real people, real communities suffering. It is important for the global community to not only examine these strategic lessons, but also to work toward peaceful resolutions to avoid the immense cost of warfare. The world needs to focus on preventing further escalations, seeking diplomacy over destruction, and fostering dialogue to ensure that history does not repeat itself in ways that lead to more suffering. In conclusion, the ongoing conflict has provided valuable lessons in strategy, adaptability, and the consequences of miscalculation. However, it has also highlighted the urgent need for peaceful conflict resolution, as the costs of continued violence are far greater than any short-term strategic advantage. Only by prioritizing diplomacy and cooperation can we hope to break the cycle of conflict and ensure a more stable and prosperous future for all.